Welcome to the deep dive. If you're here, you're looking for that high-yield insight, the stack of sources distilled down to, well, the surprising facts and crucial context. You really need to be well-informed.
Today, we are undertaking a really fascinating synthesis. We've got a set of sources, personal posts, some interview snippets, and organizational facts, all focused on charting this new course for Selena Gomez.
Right.
And this isn't just about headlines. It's about connecting the dots between, a massive recent personal milestone, her marriage to Blanco, and her continued, pretty expansive commitment to global mental health advocacy.
A rare impact fund.
Exactly, through the Rare Impact Fund.
That's it. We're looking at a figure who's in a state of, a major transition. She's balancing this profound private happiness with these very public, very demanding corporate and philanthropic roles. So our mission today is to move beyond the superficial stuff. We want to pull out the specific practical details about the strategy she's using to maintain balance and, I think, critically analyze the sheer scale and the logistics of her philanthropic goals.
And the sources really give us a rare window into her intentionality. We move from the intensely curated aesthetic details of her new married life. We're talking specific decor choices, guest lists, these visual narratives.
Yeah.
And we go directly into the practical, non-formulaic quotes on her personal wellness strategy. By the end of this deep dive, you should really understand how her private life and her public mission are, well, they're inextricably linked by a single theme.
Which is?
Control and very careful curation.
And to set that whole scene, let's just jump right into the most immediate, maybe the most intimate snapshot she offered into this new domestic life. Her first major holiday celebrated as a married woman. It really provides that immediate look at the vibe she and Blanco are establishing.
It's the perfect narrative starting point, isn't it? Because it serves as the ultimate after picture to the wedding details that we're about to get into.
Okay, let's unpack this then. The first major holiday, Thanksgiving. Now, the sources tell us that Gomez, who was 33, she shared details via her Instagram stories, and she was, establishing a mood of intense appreciation. This wasn't just a holiday photo. It was a carefully composed scene, and it felt like it was reinforcing a narrative of grounded joy.
That phrase, grounded joy, I think that's key. The message that went with it immediately establishes this duality of her public communication. She shared, "Most thankful for all of you today. Happy Thanksgiving."
Right, so she's speaking to her fans.
She's speaking to everyone. It's this gracious public acknowledgement of her global fan base, but then it's immediately followed by the specific visual evidence of her private happiness. And it's sort of offered as a gift to those fans.
And that intimate snap itself was, it was highly romantic. It showed the newlyweds, Gomez and Blanco, he's 37, cuddling in front of a fireplace. It wasn't an action shot.
No, not at all.
It was a moment of deep comfort. And it felt like it was designed to be both aspirational and somehow relatable at the same time.
And we get that very specific description from the sources. Gomez had her arms wrapped around Blanco, and he was gazing back at her lovingly. This is not just some casual photo.
Right.
It confirms a relationship that's built on deep, reciprocal affection and comfort. And for a celebrity who has spent, years under intense romantic scrutiny, establishing this visual narrative of stable mutual care is a significant strategic move.
It's a statement. But the sources don't just stop at the couple's portrait. They move right away to the environment. And this is where the intentional aesthetic choices for me become really fascinating.
Okay.
We learned about the backyard dinner setup. This wasn't some stuffy indoor formal dining room. The sources are really specific that the dinner was set up outside.
And that choice of setting outside in the backyard, it immediately signals an approach that values, I think, a kind of relaxed luxury. It moves away from the stuffiness of, traditional celebrity formality.
Yeah.
It utilized an elegant, long, light wood table. That material choice is crucial.
Okay, why is the light wood table such a critical detail? Break that down for us.
Well, because it speaks volumes about the current aesthetic trend that she is embracing. Light wood avoids that heavy, dark, opulent mahogany vibe sometimes associated with celebrity estates.
Right, the old school Hollywood look.
Exactly. This communicates warmth, modernity, and a sort of Scandinavian or maybe minimalist sensibility. It's elegant, but it's fundamentally functional and bright. It sets the tone for an approach to entertaining that prioritizes comfort and clean lines.
And that foundation was then layered with really careful presentation. We know there was a white runner placed down the center, which would have contrasted beautifully with that light wood, and matching white napkins, continuing that clean, cohesive, and sophisticated aesthetic.
The coherence is so deliberate. White is simple, it's calming, and it allows the natural elements, the backyard, the flowers, to take center stage. Then you move to the centerpieces.
Yeah.
They included autumnal flowers, so you can just visualize these deep reds, rusts, and golds, which introduces that necessary seasonal color without overwhelming the clean canvas of the white and the lightwood.
Yeah.
It's all very balanced.
And the lighting, which, changes everything in a setting like that.
Yeah.
Tall red candles were used to provide the ambient illumination. So if this was a nighttime dinner, those tall red candles would cast a very specific, warm, and highly atmospheric glow.
Precisely. It transitions the backyard from just a casual space into a deliberate, almost theatrical dining experience. That warm golden light is a universal signal for intimacy and special occasions.
Right.
It just reinforces the idea that every single detail, down to the light source, was chosen to create a specific, memorable mood. Nothing was left to chance.
And finally, the seating arrangement, which is the ultimate indicator of comfort, right? The matching chairs featured these cozy white cushions. And this is the synthesis, isn't it? You have the elegant light wood and the white runner, but it's combined with cushions that are designed specifically to invite guests to sit down and enjoy themselves.
It's the perfect summation of their desired public narrative. Sophistication paired seamlessly with deliberate comfort. It frames their early married life not as flashy or ostentatious, but as carefully cultivated and deeply grounded.
The duality is so clear.
It is a public message of thanks, paired with a private scene that is curated for maximum impact, demonstrating stability and, again, aesthetic control.
It really seems like they are crafting this image of domestic bliss that is aspirational, for sure, but also just so deeply intentional, choosing every little detail to communicate warmth and ease. And I think that intentionality is a thread we really need to follow here.
Yeah.
That intentionality leads us back, a couple of months? Because to truly understand that cozy Thanksgiving scene, we need the context of the wedding itself. Here's where it gets really interesting, connecting that domestic quietude back to the grandeur of the commitment ceremony.
The sources give us those crucial concrete facts that anchor the whole narrative. So let's just establish the timeline for a second.
Okay. The date of the marriage was September 27th. They exchanged vows after dating for 2 years. And the location. The ceremony took place at the Seacrest Nursery in Santa Barbara, California.
That location is worth dissecting. Choosing a nursery, a place of growth, natural beauty, lush landscaping, that is a very modern aesthetic choice.
It's at a church, it's not a hotel.
Not at all. It suggests a desire for a wedding setting that is inherently beautiful and organic, rather than relying on the manufactured grandeur of a hotel ballroom or some overly traditional estate. It really speaks to a preference for authenticity in the backdrop.
But that choice of authenticity in the setting was, however, combined with a significant scale of production. So let's look at the guest count. The sources called the nuptials lavish, and they were witnessed by 170 guests.
This guest count is, I think, mathematically significant, especially for a celebrity of Gomez's stature. A 170-person wedding is undeniably large. It qualifies as lavish, just like the sources describe.
Right.
But it's also highly controlled. It's not the 500-person mega wedding that you often see in these high celebrity circles.
So what is that number 170? What does that signal to you about boundaries and intentionality?
It signals a highly precise selection process. It suggests that while they wanted a grand celebration, they also fiercely protected the intimacy of the moment.
So they weren't just inviting everyone.
No, they were not inviting acquaintances or, business contacts purely for the spectacle. It was a substantial gathering of their most important people, and that establishes a very clear boundary around their inner circle. It's a strategy, really, for celebrating publicly without feeling exposed.
And that selection process is illuminated even more by the specific attendees we know about. So let's name some of the heavy hitters, because their presence really validates the different spheres of her life coming together.
Yeah, the inclusion of these specific people shows a deliberate integration of her personal and her professional support structures. It's not one or the other.
Okay, so first, the bedrock. Her longtime friend, Taylor Swift. I mean, given the duration and the high profile of their friendship, Swift's presence wasn't just significant, you could argue it was essential.
Oh, absolutely essential. It confirms the enduring strength of her core personal relationships, which act as anchors amid the turbulence of fame.
And having that validation from a longtime friend, particularly one who understands the unique pressures of her life, it just underscores the importance of her foundational support system.
It confirms that this marriage has the approval and the backing of her closest confidants. It's a public seal of approval from someone her fans trust implicitly.
But then you see the professional pillars walk in. Her only murders in the building co-stars were all in attendance. Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Paul Rudd, all three of them.
This is perhaps even more telling about her current life structure. I mean, think about it. Only Murders represents a major, successful, and mature phase of her career.
A huge hit.
A huge hit. The fact that the entire core cast attended highlights that these aren't just colleagues, they are genuinely trusted friends. They are proof of a stable, healthy working environment that she has successfully blended into her most sacred personal spaces.
It speaks volumes about the atmosphere on that set, doesn't it? I mean, to have such established, iconic, comedic legends, not just send a gift, but actually travel to Santa Barbara to witness the union, it shows the genuine respect and affection they must hold for her.
It creates this complete picture of her life. It's not siloed, it's integrated. She has successfully brought the emotional support from her longtime friend group and the professional stability from her current highly visible work environment into the most intimate celebration of her life.
So that 170 guest list,
Yeah.
it's not just lavish in scale.
No, it's strategic in its composition.
It's the ultimate statement of confidence, really. It's like saying, I am happy, I am stable, and the most important people in every single facet of my life are right here to confirm it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so now that we've established the foundation, the lavish yet very controlled wedding, we can move to the public narrative that followed. A deep dive requires looking at both partners, and Benny Blanco offered a very specific public statement that reinforced the stability of their union just a week before that cozy Thanksgiving post.
The timing of Blanco's post is strategically perfect. It happened 1 week before Gomez shared her intimate Thanksgiving moments, so it kind of set the emotional benchmark for their new status. He led the public charge with this declaration of permanence.
And the message itself was profoundly direct. I mean, there's no room for ambiguity. He wrote, "Promise to love you forever." That is a declarative statement.
A huge one.
And the visual evidence, the Instagram carousel of photos from the wedding day, that served as the proof for that promise.
The visuals are the secondary text here, aren't they? They're so carefully selected to reinforce this narrative of commitment, high emotion, and the sheer quality of the event. They provide the public with the emotional context that's needed to accept their new status as a permanent fixture.
So let's look at the specific narrative arc of Blanco's carousel, because it's not random. Photo 1, the couple in a loving embrace. It's standard, but necessary. It establishes the immediate emotional tone.
Right. But then photo 2 immediately moves into the artistry and grandeur of the moment. It featured Selena in her wedding gown, specifically showing her bare back to the camera.
Why that choice? What does showing her back say?
Well, it's an aesthetic choice that focuses on the elegance, the design, and the subtle, mature sexiness of the moment. It's less about simple posing for the camera and more about capturing the artistic quality of the event. It's almost like a fashion shot, not just a wedding photo.
That makes sense. And then that black and white picture in photo 3, them about to share a kiss, that introduces a timeless, romantic mood.
Exactly. Black and white automatically elevates a moment, doesn't it? It suggests emotional depth and permanence, moving the image beyond the sort of ephemeral nature of a colorful Instagram feed.
And then we get the crucial validation in photo 4. This is where Blanco shows that he understands the importance of her support system. It captured Gomez and Taylor Swift clasping hands.
Yes. This photo is the evidence that the relationship is backed by those personal pillars we were just talking about. It offers a layer of shared history and emotional grounding to the union. It's him saying, I get it. I get who is important to you.
And Blanco concluded the visual story with an image that really reinforced that lavish descriptor through pure atmospheric detail. Photo 5, a detailed look at the reception. We see the long dinner table glowing golden beneath a myriad of overhead lights.
That image is the physical manifestation of the promise of forever. It captures the immense effort and beauty put into the celebration. The sheer number of overhead lights and that resulting golden glow, it emphasizes that this wasn't just a party.
No.
It was a spectacular, high-effort event, visually confirming that their commitment warranted such grandeur. It backs up his words with a very expensive-looking picture.
So Blanco uses a high-production visual narrative to ground his powerful public promise. It's not just a declaration, it's a documentation of a shared, tangible memory. This intentional sharing controls the narrative, establishing stability and mutual commitment in the public eye.
And that concept of intentional control, controlling the aesthetic, controlling the guest list, controlling the shared narrative, It provides the perfect bridge to our next section: her personal, practical strategy for controlling her own internal landscape.
Absolutely. We shift from the external control, the curation of her marriage narrative, to the internal control,
Hmm.
her mental wellness strategy. This critical insight was shared earlier in the month at the Rare Impact Fund benefit.
The sources move us from the high drama and high aesthetics of a celebrity wedding to the practical daily grind of maintaining mental health in a high-pressure environment. She spoke about this very candidly, revealing the small, repeatable steps she uses.
And the first crucial point is the philosophy of balance she articulated. She explicitly stated she has no single magic formula for maintaining balance. She told people directly, "I don't know the key, I just know what works for me."
This non-formulaic approach is, I think, highly powerful because it immediately rejects the industry standard of suggesting a one-size-fits-all solution. Do these 5 things and you'll be happy.
Right? The self-help checklist.
Exactly. It validates the listener's own journey, reinforcing that wellness is a personalized, adaptive practice. This concept alone, I feel, offers immense relief to those who are overwhelmed by prescriptive self-help advice.
She then articulated the core of her strategy, which is finding comfort in allowing the tough days to just exist. Her key insight was, some days you just have to let yourself get it out. She embraces the necessary emotional release rather than trying to suppress or minimize difficult feelings.
This is a sophisticated psychological tool. It recognizes that avoidance or suppression often leads to a greater emotional debt later on. Allowing the emotions to get it out is a crucial step towards processing, ensuring those feelings don't accumulate and overwhelm her system later. It's about acknowledging reality first.
But she doesn't just wallow in it. She follows that emotional release with very specific, actionable steps designed to shift her internal state. What are those specific coping mechanisms that stand out to you?
Well, the transition she mandates for herself is fascinating. After the release, she immediately follows up with the good laugh. That intentional pivot moving from catharsis to lightness shows an active refusal to sink into prolonged negativity. It's a deliberate effort to reclaim agency over her mood.
And then we get to the detail that is perhaps the most actionable and instructive for, our high-capacity listeners, her approach to social connection. She stated that she likes to maybe just see one friend.
The emphasis on one friend is a profoundly important boundary marker. For someone with immense visibility, large groups, even supportive ones, can be incredible energy drains.
Oh, for sure.
Limiting connection to one trusted individual ensures the interaction is focused, meaningful, and crucially low energy. It's a strategy tailored specifically for managing the high demands on a public figure's emotional and attentional reserves.
I have to pause on this because it really challenges the standard advice we often hear, about needing a village or a huge support network during times of stress. Is this one friend approach a necessary survival mechanism when your career involves managing millions of parasocial relationships?
I think so, absolutely. Think of it like this. A public figure is constantly broadcasting and managing the expectations of an audience. That is exhausting.
Yeah.
Seeing one friend allows her to turn off the performance, to shed the burden of being a public figure, and engage in a deeply reciprocal, non-performative interaction. It's quality over quantity, specifically tailored to prevent burnout caused by over-socializing. It is crucial boundary management.
And this measured, controlled social interaction is paired with professional support. She includes professional help in her formula, confirming she talks to her therapist regularly.
Which is so important.
It is because it highlights that these strategies are not merely self-help anecdotes, but are likely guided and supported by professional clinical input.
And that integration of professional help is a powerful normalizing message for her audience. It positions therapy not as a last resort for when things are terrible, but as a proactive, foundational component of maintaining high performance and mental stability, like going to the gym for your mind.
And the final piece of the puzzle,
Hmm.
she proactively makes sure to look for people that help in this situation. This suggests a bespoke approach to support. She doesn't just rely on her fixed circle. She seeks out specific expertise or comfort tailored to the specific problem she is facing at that moment.
So to synthesize this section, her strategy is practical, it's adaptive, and it's highly controlled. It's permission to be imperfect to allow for that emotional release, but it mandates a structured follow-up.
Right.
Laughter, limited social interaction, professional guidance. It's all designed to ensure that the release doesn't turn into a spiral. It's a strategy for successful grounding amidst global scrutiny, confirming that she treats her mental health with the same rigorous intentionality she treats her public narrative and aesthetics.
Now we move to the final, and I would say the largest pillar of her life structure. This entire discussion about her coping mechanisms was prompted by her appearance at the Benefit for the Rare Impact Fund. This is where her personal experience with mental health translates into a monumental global philanthropic mission.
Let's establish the scale. The event, attended by both Gomez and Blanco, occurred on October 29th.
And this is so critical for the timeline. This was less than 5 weeks after their September 27th marriage. She literally returned from what should have been her honeymoon period directly into high-level advocacy work. This immediacy just reinforces the priority level of this mission in her life.
The event was held at NYA Studios West in Los Angeles, and it served as a platform to support the fund, which was established through her highly successful cosmetics brand, Rare Beauty. This integration is crucial. It's not a separate charity. It's a philanthropic mission built directly into her commercial success.
Let's talk about the fund's goal, because this is where the scale becomes truly apparent. The stated goal, to help raise $100 million for youth mental health services worldwide.
$100 million. That target is not a trivial fundraising benchmark. It represents a profound, sustained commitment. It transforms the fund from a celebrity vanity project into a serious, long-term, global infrastructure commitment.
$100 million for youth mental health specifically on a worldwide scale. That requires a massive logistical and operational strategy.
It really does.
I want to push on that logistics point. What does the pursuit of $100 million specifically for youth mental health worldwide actually imply in terms of the fund's day-to-day work?
It implies a vast scope of intervention. $100 million isn't just used for simple awareness campaigns or billboards. It suggests funding large-scale operations. We're talking about training mental health providers in underserved regions, developing culturally sensitive resources across multiple languages, potentially investing in technology platforms for remote support, and providing grants to local, on-the-ground organizations that lack capital. It means navigating dozens of different regulatory and healthcare systems across continents. This is complex organizational work.
So the Rare Impact Fund isn't just, cutting checks to existing charities. It's attempting to build capacity in global mental health infrastructure from the ground up. And this specific benefit is not new, which confirms its momentum.
Exactly. The sources tell us this specific Rare Impact Fund benefit was now in its 3rd year, which signals consistency and, more importantly, proof of concept. They've moved past the initial startup phase and are actively building a sustainable annual fundraising engine, which is what's necessary to chip away at that $100 million goal.
And to demonstrate the seriousness of the event, they leveraged significant star power beyond Gomez herself. The host was Jimmy Kimmel, a major name in late-night television. That lends both credibility and entertainment value, ensuring high attendance from major donors.
And the event also featured these curated artistic performances, with the Marias and Laufey performing. This combination of A-list hosting and sort of indie cool music suggests an effort to make the event sophisticated and memorable. It ensures donors feel they are supporting a high-quality, high-impact initiative.
And Gomez's own reflection on the fund's progress really summarizes her dedication. She expressed deep pride in what the organization had already achieved. And her ongoing hope was crystal clear. She said, "I hope that we continue to raise for what we're doing all over the world."
So if we could connect this section back to the bigger picture, the urgency of this work, returning to a high-stakes fundraising event just weeks after her wedding, it reinforces that the Rare Impact Fund is a central, non-negotiable part of her life.
Yeah.
Her personal experience with mental health is not just a story she tells. It's the immediate catalyst for a massive global undertaking aimed at helping young people navigate the incredible challenges of the modern world. The advocacy is deeply integrated with the identity she is currently curating for herself.
What a deep dive. We have moved from the hyper-specific, curated aesthetic of her first married Thanksgiving, the cozy cushions, the elegant lightwood table, all the way to the high-stakes, strategic details of her wedding, complete with the 170 guest list and the symbolic inclusion of Taylor Swift in the Only Murders cast. And finally, we synthesize that personal narrative with her deliberate, practical strategies for mental health, the genius of the one-friend rule, the necessity of the good laugh, and the staggering $100 million global mission of the Rare Impact Fund.
The sources, when you put them all together, they paint a cohesive, intentional portrait. The underlying theme across all spheres, personal, romantic, professional, and philanthropic, is control and deliberate choice. She chooses intimacy in her celebration, clarity in her advocacy, and a practical, personalized approach to wellness.
It's the same energy.
It's the same energy. The meticulous planning required for a golden-lit 170-guest wedding is the same kind of strategic energy applied to her coping mechanisms and the logistics of a $100 million global fund.
And the facts we've extracted, from the tall red candles and the golden glow of the reception to the strategic choice of seeing just one friend and talking to her therapist, all of it grounds the abstract concept of balance in very real, very specific, and highly intentional behaviors. It really feels like she is building a life that is structured for longevity in the public eye.
Which raises an important question, I think, for you to mull or explore on your own. Given the highly detailed and visually perfect evidence of her personal joy and the clarity of her mental health strategy, how much of this highly curated public sharing, these specific details about her life and her methods, from the decor to the one friend, is in itself a necessary and active component of her overall strategy for maintaining balance in the public eye? Is the ability to control and share her narrative, defining her own boundaries publicly, the ultimate act of wellness for a globally visible figure?